I'm a retired FBI agent, and this development in the Jeffrey Epstein case makes no sense. The Department of Justice and the FBI now have officially declared that Jeffrey Epstein killed himself, did not have a client list, blackmailed nobody. This is contradictory of so many things that we've heard over the years that it is absolutely stunning to me. I just don't understand it. It makes no sense. It makes no sense with things that Attorney General Pam Bondi herself said back, I think, in February, when she said that all Jeffrey Epstein files were going to be released, that they contain flight logs, names, and we've been told for years that Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell headed up this sex trafficking ring with thousands and thousands of victims. And so if Epstein acted alone, essentially, then who was he trafficking to? Were all these thousands and thousands of victims his? I've never understood how he had so much money. Honestly, if you look at his background, for the lifestyle that he had, for all the homes that he had, it was an incredible amount of just money going out the door monthly just to maintain these places. None of this makes sense, I can tell you. It's baffling to me. As I've said before, it's a demonstrable fact that over half the country does not have faith and trust in the FBI, and I think that number is probably even going down. This has been handled horribly. You know, if this is the truth, just the way that this has been done is just horrible. And again, speaking as a retired FBI agent, you know, I never directly worked on anything related to Epstein. Nothing about that ever came across my desk. So my knowledge of this is just, you know, the same as yours, what's in the public. But I can just tell you this it doesn't make sense. Something doesn't add up in this thing.
So what happened to the Epstein client list that the Attorney General said she had on her desk?
Well, I think if you go back and look at what the Attorney General said in that interview, which was on your network on Fox News.
I've got the quote.
Go ahead.
John Roberts said, DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients. Will that really happen? And she said, it's sitting on my desk right now to review.
Yes, she was saying the entirety of all of the paperwork, all of the paper in relation to Jeffrey Epstein's crimes. That's what the Attorney General was referring to, and I'll let...
What is up, YouTube? My name is Happiness and welcome to my channel. So, it seems like the Epstein file does not exist, whereby Karoline Leavitt said that Pam Bondi was not referring to the client list as there is no clients in the first place, but that Pam Bondi was referring to the entire case, and that they were just wanting to justify that he died because of suicide, not because somebody killed him while he was under custody for his sex trafficking charges. But despite that, guys, yes, there you go. The long-awaited list does not exist. So what was the hype about this list anyway, if there were no list of people or clients to start this? But let's check out these videos to hear from a couple of people.
If Ghislaine Maxwell, Epstein's accomplice and partner in the sex trafficking scheme, is spending 20 years in prison for sex trafficking, and then Trump and his people said in February that there's a client list, but then yesterday there turns out to be no client list, but then Ghislaine Maxwell is in prison for sex trafficking. Who was she sex trafficking people to if there was no list? Like, how was she convicted? Also, when the White House invited all of those influencers like DC Drano and Libs of TikTok, and they handed them a full binder of the Epstein files, what was in the Epstein files? What was in those binders? And also, if Jeffrey Epstein said that Donald Trump was one of his best friends, and then Republicans got fired up that they were going to release the files because it was going to expose all of the elites in the corruption with the sex trafficking and the...
So suddenly there's no Epstein list. After all of these years hearing about the Jeffrey Epstein list, suddenly the alleged president Donald Trump's administration comes out and declares that there is no Epstein list. And Epstein never blackmailed anybody. How dumb do they think the people of the United States really are. You know, the MAGA supporters, the MAGA voters have got to be really, really pissed about this. Because, man, they were up in arms and they were told that they were going to get these Epstein files. But suddenly, Pam Bondi, who told us that she's seen the Epstein files and it's bad. And then you have Dan Bongino and you have Kash Patel of the FBI, who have all talked about the Epstein list. Suddenly they are declaring that there is no Epstein list and no blackmail? But yeah, now the alleged president, Donald Trump, is in the clear, right? Now he's in the clear. We've all known about the list. They've talked about the list endlessly. What do you say now, MAGA voters? Do you see the corruption? Do you see just how terrible and corrupt this administration is? You guys voted to drain the swamp, but instead you elected the very definition of the goddamn swamp. All of these MAGA people talked about the Epstein list, including Kash Patel, including Dan Bongino, including Pam Bondi. And now suddenly, now that they're in charge of this administration and they're in charge in the White House and their guys in, suddenly there's no Epstein list. Come on. The problem is the Trump administration thinks that he can fool all of his own supporters over and over again. But, you know, I think this is going to open some eyes, folks.
Okay, guys, on your thoughts on the description down below, add your thoughts on what you feel about not being a list to start with in terms of this Epstein file case. But despite that, thank you for watching my channel. Please like and subscribe, and let's meet up to the next video, and peace out.